Yo, what's up guys, Boogle here. I've been real busy the past 2 months, but we'll be back to consistency real soon. But for now, the Crazed Axe Redux Guide. Like always with these beginner Redux guides, we're gonna go through the stage with level 25 to 20 units. And in this stage, we're gonna go with no power-ups, though power-ups do help extremely well. Now, to be clear, the old guide still works perfectly fine, but I've come to realize over the years, guides in the Battlecats community is oftenly misused. What a lot of people tend to do is they look up a guide, they look at the lineup, they copy the lineup, and they jump into the stage, ignoring everything else. Like, it's gotten to the point of me contemplating making a video on how to use guides. It's crazy. Like, is the Lucas guide on guides not enough? But anyways, with that out of the way, let's hop into the lineup. Like always, with these Redux guides, I'm gonna be a bit more clearer on the suggestions and what you should use and what the mindset is here, because it is essentially the old guide, but just more explained, I guess. Now, this is not the exact lineup we're gonna go into the stage with. I'm using this lineup as an example of what you can use. And that goes for the old guide as well, because people tend to look at the lineup, and in the old guide I was using Koi Cat as our anti-red unit for the suggestion, as a little free-to-play suggestion there. But people took it way too hard and they thought you actually needed Koi Cat for the stage. Well, that is not true at all. But what you will need for the stage is, of course, your meat shields or your stallers. I recommend a minimum of 3. 4 is the very safe option. The crucial meat shields being Crazed Wall and Crazed Macho. Crazed Wall can take multiple hits from Crazed Axe, and Crazed Macho can take a hit from Crazed Axe, which is very huge. So if there's one thing that you'll absolutely need in this entire guide, it is Crazed Wall and Crazed Macho. Everything else is pretty much replaceable or substitutable. Even those 2 Crazed meat shields are somewhat replaceable if you have the right units. Now, as our general attackers here, we have Bahamut as an option, or Udurun Wolf as an option as well. Either or works. If you have an Uber to fit in that slot, that works as a replacement as well. Anti-red Ubers, anti-floating Ubers especially, anti-traitless Ubers can work as well. Another staple general attacker that will help out tremendously in this level is Dragon. It can act as a nice shield for your Ubers or your special legends or your general attackers with higher range like Bahamut. Now, another general attacker we're bringing here is Castaway. This just works as a great general AoE attacker. There's lots of replacements for this like Volter Cat, Paris, Drama Cats. The general attacker slot is filled by many and can be used by many. Castaways is a special one here because it has great survivability on top of its nice damage and area attack. But the best unit as your AoE attacker has to be Crazed UFO in this stage. Crazed UFO is a damn force to be messed with against a large amount of enemy units in a group. Extremely high DPS, it has a nice range as well, so it can outrange most of the pesky peons. Same thing with Drama Cats here. Good health, great DPS, damage per second, and great AoE. If you don't know what I mean by AoE, of course I'm talking about area attack. Figure skating can work as a very nice replacement for Paris, or can substitute Paris, or can even get paired with Paris in this stage, so there's lots of options here. Of course, just make sure it's at least level 20. That goes for all of your attackers in the stage, especially your main attackers. I would recommend trying to get them to 25 and above, because this stage does have some pretty nasty boost for such an early game stage. Ring Girl Cat also works as a very nice general attacker in this lineup, and it has that great area attack, has great health, can survive lots of hits, reposition, and get lots of more damage done as well. So there we go, Ring Girl is another option for a general AoE attacker. We'll talk about crowd control units later in the lineup explanation, but for now let's focus on our main general attackers here. Sushi is a special case here, because Sushi can fulfill the role as a general attacker, as well as a meat shield, and as well as a crowd control unit in this stage, because of course it can weaken red enemies, it's resistant to red enemies, it has very high health, it has nice area attack and decent damage. Sushi is basically the ultimate unit for the stage, other than a few other units I'll mention later on. But if you do have Sushi, definitely do use it. Now, we talked about our general area attackers, and our general attackers like Dragon, Bahamut, and such. Let's talk about the red killers, or the anti-red units for the stage. Now, in this run, I do believe I use Bathcat as our red killer for the stage. Yes, it is a single target unit, but Bathcat fulfills a very nice role in this stage, being a very ranged red killer, being out of harm's way of Crazed Axe, being able to safely sit back and stack up against all of the onslaught of Shy Boys. And at level 25, it is plenty to just snipe the hell out of the Shy Boys and erase them off the map. Now, of course, Shy Boys is the main boss of the stage, really, in the stage, so gearing up on anti-reds and anti-floating is very recommended. Thorcat can kind of work as a anti-red unit for the stage. If you're going to use this unit, I recommend getting it true form. A unit similar to Bathcat, but not quite as range heavy as Bathcat, is Swordmaster. Swordmaster is a nice unit for the stage. It has a long enough recharge to where the cost of it is justified, so you're not just draining cash. So Swordmaster can work, though the range can screw you over sometimes. That's why I much prefer Bathcat. Now, remember how I said Sushi is the ultimate unit for the stage? Well, this is the other ultimate unit for the stage. Mercat's true form, Cameraman, is a cheat code for the stage. I do not recommend using this unit if it's not true formed, but if you do have Mercat, get it true formed and watch how you just erase this level. It works as a great AoE attacker with very high DPS against floating. It's low cost, it's stackable, it has great survivability. There's just lots of pluses to Cameraman. It is really the ultimate unit for the stage. Of course, if you have like no good gacha units at all, you can always pull the old guide moment and use Koi Cat. Works perfectly fine supported by your other AoE attackers. Wrestling Cat works quite nice as well with the nice health and area attack. But that's pretty much all for the red killers slash floating killers for now. Let's hop into more of the anti-red crowd control units or anti-floating crowd control units. Now, there is two very crazy units for the stage, crazy crowd control units for the stage. That being Apple Cat's true form and of course Bishop Cat's true form, which is Sanzo and iCat. Now, those are the two slot-in crowd control units you do want for the stage, but there is other options, like Sadako is an anti-floating crowd control unit. Of course, it has weaken, its resistance, and it has a large amount of health. It can work as a meat shield as well. Also, if you don't know what I mean by crowd control units, I'm talking about units that are effective against their trait by slowing, freezing, doing knockbacks, or even weakening the enemy trait. Like we mentioned earlier, Sushi Cat can work as a AoE attacker, and as well as a anti-red unit in the stage, and as well as a crowd control unit. Now, Delinquent and Bodcat, I don't recommend them too much, but they do work. They work, and that's a confirmation if you needed it. Let's say you don't have iCat, you don't have Sanzo, you don't have any good crowd control units, but you have Delinquent or Bodcat, then you can use them in the stage. So the options are not completely gone. They are usable in the stage, but just not the best. Of course, if you have Hip Hop's true form, Can work as a very nice unit to do some burst damage and crowd control as well. Crazed Whale, I forgot to mention this. Crazy how I forgot to mention the GOAT Crazed Whale. But Crazed Whale can work as a very nice, easily obtainable anti-raid unit for the stage. Can work as a nice sustainable shield for your units, as well as do great damage. And of course, while I'm here, I'll throw in the suggestion of Crazed Dragon as well. Now, stuff like Captain Cat can work in the stage, but I don't really recommend it too much, because knockback can really screw you over in the long run. What will happen is Captain Cat will knock back all of the Shy Boys into Crazed Axe range, and all of your other attackers that were stacked up, like Paris and Dragon and such, will move forward into Crazed Axe range. Well, not Dragon, but Paris in this example will move forward and just get demolished. So Captain Cat is a risky crowd control unit, but it does work. But of course, our other slot in crowd control unit, other than Apple Cat, is Bishop Cat's true form, which is Sanzo. Sanzo is a killer for this stage, and a very key unit for Manic Axe. Now, if you don't have the true form, first of all, get a true form, what are you doing? But if you somehow can't true form Bishop Cat, then I don't really recommend using it, but it can work. So just keep that in mind, it does work. Unlike Mercat, where if you don't have the true form, I highly do not recommend using it, Bishop you can use in this stage. Another unit that works great as a crowd control unit in this stage, though it is a single target unit, both of these units is of course Necromancer and Witch Cat, can work real nice as your crowd control units. Of course, when stacked up, they are pretty effective. And of course, there's stuff like Magicka and things like that. I mean, there's lots of units that can fulfill this role. Basically, units with decent range, and they have the freeze, weaken, slow, and in some cases, knockback will work. If they have that against red or floating, then they're pretty much good to go. There is lots of Ubers that can fulfill that role as well, so keep that in mind. I'm not gonna sit here and go through every single Uber that works for the stage, otherwise we're gonna be here for an hour plus. I mean, we're already like, what, 10 minutes in just to the lineup explanation. But the key things is, make sure it has a good range. Stuff like Bahamut has a decent range, so comparable to that. Make sure it is either an anti-floating, anti-red, or even anti-traitless. You can use other Ubers as a general attacker if they're high enough level, so do keep that in mind as well. They do not have to be, absolutely have to be, anti-red, anti-floating, or anti-traitless. Like if you have Kalisa, I'm sure she'll work in the stage real well. But that pretty much does it for the lineup explanation. Let's hop into the stage. Now, Crazed Axe is commonly known as the most difficult Crazed stage, not only because there is a large boost on the Shy Boys in the stage, but also because it is not a base hit stage. Crazed Axe comes out immediately, so what you want to do is cover as much ground as possible, quickly. And the absolute best way to do that is using Crazed Wall. If you're quick enough, you can meet Crazed Axe near the halfway point or the middle point of the level. Now, it's crucial during this part to get your wallet to at least up 3 levels. That is pretty much all you'll need. But if you're using Rich Cat, then you don't really have to worry too much here. But you still want to keep Crazed Axe at that middle point. Now, eventually Crazed Axe will start to push forward, and that's when you want to start pushing forward as well. Using Seal as leverage for some extra cash can really help start your push. So wipe out Seal very quick, and in this case Batcat is there to just completely wipe the floor with Sealed. We get a nice cash boost and we're able to start stacking up here. Now, it's very crucial to stack up as much DPS as possible before the Shy Boys start stacking up. And of course, it's inevitable that they're gonna stack up, so you just want to be prepared because the boost is really high for the Shy Boys for a stage so early in the game. This is the point where we want to send out our first legend as well, or your Uber, or whatever slot in unit you're using, whether it be Pai, Kai, Kronos, Dasly, Kalisa, Bahamut, whatever unit you're using, this is when you want to send them out, as soon as the Shy Boys start coming out. Now, CPU is pretty helpful in this stage, but only when paired with Rich Cat in this level. Otherwise, you're gonna need to at least max your wallet first and then turn on CPU. So keep that in mind. So at this point, it's pretty much just cat spam. Just start stacking up your AoE attackers, stacking up all of your anti-red units, your ranged units. If you have enough DPS, you'll win the push. And if you have enough crowd control, you'll win the push as well. Urudun Wolf works as a very nice unit for the stage, not only because it could work as a nice DPS, nice area attack DPS, but also because it can knock back not only the Shy Boys but Crazed Axe at the same time. So that gets rid of the whole problem of your attackers moving into Crazed Axe range when you knock back only the Shy Boys using something like Pirate Cat. Wolf will knock back both of them, so you can reposition and gain some leverage and some ground. Bringing Sniper Cat power up also can work the same way, especially in the second half of the level. Now with the power of our Bathcat stack and Crazed UFO just demolishing, we are able to hold back against the push of the Shy Boys. The initial push of the Shy Boys. Of course, the Shy Boys will keep coming in intervals, so keep alert, keep an eye on your cash, manage it correctly, because it is not over yet at all. In this recording, this battle took like over 10 minutes. So keep on high alert, especially if you have low level units like we're using here. But hey, if you're using Pi, then just CPU the stage away. Now at a certain point in the stage, it's just going to be one Shy Boy in rotation, and that's when you want to ease off, setting your attackers a bit. But in this case, we're so low level that we need every ounce of attack possible. So we are constantly sending out Crazed UFO, Crazed Dragon, or not Crazed Dragon, regular Dragon, and of course Bathcat. You can sustain from using your crowd control units during this half of the level where it's just one Shy Boy at a time, but to be extra safe and because we have so much extra cash, we do send out Applecat every time it is on recharge, just for the little help. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up Crazed Axe. It is just a long-winded battle from here on out, just constantly facing Shy Boys and chipping away Crazed Axe health. And the Dragon stack is a huge help in the long run for the stage. But yeah, you can probably tell it was not over. The battle was not over at any point in this level. I don't think we hit the cat limit once during this level until we finally hit the base. So we needed every ounce of attack power we possibly could get. As you can see, we stacked up like what, 4 Urdun Wolves? But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Crazed Axe Redux guide. Drop a like if this guide helped you out, subscribe if you're new, join the hashtag Boogle gang. A link to the Discord is in the description down below. If you have any questions on what Ubers to use and such in the stage, post it in the comments below. But yeah, it's been John Boogle, and see ya!